Hi everyone, it's Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary. Welcome to Training Tuesday for January 17th, 2023. This week we're going to talk about generalization, and we are going to see two snakes who have learned to generalize their targeting behavior to various situations and locations. I want to emphasize before you watch these videos that these two snakes are almost 6 years old. They came to live with me at the age of 2, and they started their target training at 2 years old. So for 3.5 years, I've worked with them incrementally, stepping up their target training, starting at a very basic level and moving it up to more difficult levels as time has gone on. They did not arrive here at 2 years old and within a short time be able to generalize a targeting behavior to the veterinarian's office and to different rooms in the house and to different stations and all over the place. This is something that we have worked up to over the last 3.5 years. And it is also something that's made possible because these snakes, through choice-based interactions, have come to feel safe and secure within our home environment and with me. So they are very comfortable and relaxed in every environment here, and they have carried that over to environments outside of our facility that I have taken them to, such as the veterinarian, because I keep things there as familiar as possible: the targeting behavior, their carrier, their stations, and me. So I wanted to give you a little bit of context as to how these animals got to the point where they're at in these videos. It didn't just happen overnight. A lot of work and time and patience went into it.
In animal training, generalization means that your learner can apply a concept or perform a behavior in many different situations, circumstances, and environments. For example, our Morelia Bredli Boreth has learned to generalize a targeting behavior to many different environments, in many different situations, and in many different locations. I started him out target training when he was 2 years old, just by pairing the target with food, and then slowly asking him to approach the target in his enclosure, and then move to the target when it was a distance away from him, and then follow the target across his enclosure, and then start following the target out of his enclosure in small increments until he would follow the target completely out of his enclosure and onto a station. When he was very good at that, I started changing up the station and using different stations for him to shift onto out of his enclosure. And then when he was very good at that, I started moving the stations around and asking him to do the target training in different locations within his home. And so here you see Boreth, who had just been out for exercise. He was just freely roaming around the house. He was 3 rooms away from where his enclosure is located. I decided that I would see if I could get him to target off the top of the other snake's enclosure just as a training exercise. And he targeted off of that and onto a station. That's an example of generalizing behavior. Here's another example. This is our Morelia Bredli Sunspear. She also started target training in the same way as Boreth when she was 2 years old. She was randomly roaming around the house, and she was in the bathroom, and she knocked a lot of things off the counter. And I thought, this is a good opportunity to see if she can generalize her targeting behavior in this random location that we have never done a targeting exercise in before. So I asked her to target across the counter. She was staring down at the floor. I asked her to move back up onto the counter and just target from one end of the counter to the other end of the counter. And she has no problem completing this behavior. She was very comfortable and relaxed about it. She was focused, and she targeted up back onto the counter and across the counter. And then she took her reinforcement, which of course then gave me an opportunity to clean up after her and pick up all the things that she knocked down. And I want you to notice how comfortable and relaxed she is eating. She's eating in my presence. She's eating while I'm putting all these things back that she knocked down. She's eating while I'm moving stuff in her environment and around her. And that's because she's been with me now for almost 4 years. We started the target training the same way as Borath, very, very slowly in baby steps until she incrementally worked her way up to, as you can see here, being able to generalize this targeting behavior in different environments and under different circumstances. The circumstances being that I was doing all this stuff around her and she's comfortable and relaxed and feels secure enough with me that she's able to eat in my presence and it doesn't bother her. That's an indication that she feels safe. Here's another example of Borath targeting in yet a different location. So he's actually right next to the freezer where I store the rodents. He's right next to one of the scales that we weigh the snakes on. He's also right next to one of the exercise tents that we use. And I thought, well, let me just see if he'll target from one level of this station down to the level below him. He was up on the very top level, which is near the ceiling. You see that he's looking at me, and that's okay. He can look around and observe his environment as long as he knows that his ultimate goal and his ultimate mission to earn reinforcement is to engage with that target, which he does, and then he takes his reinforcement. Another great example of generalizing behavior, and here is another one which I'm very proud of, is he generalized this targeting behavior at the veterinarian's office, shifting out of his carrier and onto a station at the vet. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, please remember to always be kind and love your animals.